Such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving in a problem right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it.
Never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year.
Some gun deaths every single year.
So that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
It's ironic how much Charlie Kirk has talked about the violence within the black community and the things that are wrong with the black community, and to be shot in cold blood in front of all those people as he is just doing his job, doing his career by a white man.
White man.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Charlie Kirk was shot today at Utah Valley University as he was giving a speech on gang violence. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Charlie Kirk, he is a right-wing activist, and he's really known for doing debates with people, and has really gone viral for some of his racist undertone rhetoric against black people and other groups of people as well. Now, while I don't wish any ill will on this man, and we do hope that he makes it because it has not been confirmed or that he's passed away, but we clearly see that he's been shot, it's definitely ironic.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
Because of DEI, it begs the question: when you see a black pilot, you wonder. You say, I hope they are qualified. Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
this
CRT.
is fine. This is great.
Basically.
So you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies
this is where
on
we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor
So
of this
why
country.
do you think black people commit more
Well,
crimes,
first of
Charlie
all,
Kirk?
let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer
answer.
it. Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's why you
80% of
think it is.
blacks do not have a stable father around. That is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not
you
a
think
racism
that's a problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it should
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't take my word for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised without a father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy? It's time for us to stop listening to rap music and this degenerate hip-hop stuff and go back to the music that built our civilization.
There are three lies in this world. Lies, goddamn lies, and statistics. But nonetheless, today I'm going to bring you the truth. And before I do, the title is White Crime Took Out Charlie Kirk. Black crime was created to further support white supremacy. Now, with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High Yahawah, and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. I'm not shedding a tear. All of that. One thing I will say though, that had to be very, 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 very traumatizing for his family. I mean, I'm just, we're humane over here, okay? But still, I mean, I'm not putting out no flowers because of his rhetoric towards so-called black people, the Judahites, the Israelites. Because before I even go there, he's all for the Second Amendment, because you heard him in the video where he said, well, maybe we need to have some unfortunate deaths so that they can, pretty much uplift their Second Amendment. So with that being said, he actually became that pawn. So this is Psalm 64, verse 7. I'm going to start at 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. People, at that moment, he was talking about so-called gang violence, right? And then that's when he got shot in the neck. At that same moment, there's no mistakes in the universe. People got to understand that. So as he said, there had to be some unfortunate deaths. He actually became that one. At the same moment, he was speaking about gang violence. And see, this goes back to one of those lies called statistics, because they like to say that gang violence is running rampant, but they will never talk about the mass shootings that their children are doing, their young males are doing. See, at first it was called mass shootings, then it was called gang shootings, gang violence. But the mass shootings started to make them look more like degenerates and vile people, because you're going into school shooting innocent people, but at the same time your manifesto was speaking how you hate the Jews and the black folks and the LGBTQ, and how you want to have a separate society, but you'll go and kill your own people. Where's the wisdom in that? Or you'll run up into our churches because of how you. So what you'll do, you put it all into gang violence. I'm sorry, mass shootings, and now so that you can kind of suppress your numbers. So you're still always talking about Chicago, when literally I think it was the mayor, even in DC. When they was talking about letting the National Guards out, they said crime went down like 28% earlier this year. So statistics can be spewed to hold up an argument that's true or that's not, right? So he also said how if he saw a black pilot, he wonder if it was the DEI. Oh, I'll be afraid. I'll be scared. Have you forgotten about the Tuskegee Airmen? Right? You're supposed to be a culture individual, right? Have you forgotten about the Tuskegee Airmen? Or better yet, how about John C. Robinson, who was a so-called black man, a Judahite? He was a pilot. They called him the Brown Condor. He actually went over there and taught the Ethiopians how to fly their planes. Taught them. And also during the 1930s, the Italians, they was finna get on the Ethiopians' ass, but we went over there, the Judahites, and we helped save them from being subjugated. And that's a part of history they'll teach you. And Haile Selassie loved us so much, he gave us a piece of land to go over there, but Benjamin ran their asses over there and took it. But then they kicked them out. They started doing smoking weed and getting high over there. But that's a part of history people don't even know about. So you're talking about, oh, this is DEI hire. Hell, you had some of our own pilots who was going over there, and teaching them. Even in the history where we had the race wars, the race riots. Remember, we was in every war. You had Jakes that was literally hijacking planes. Yes. So what are you talking about? But see, like I say, they'll go back to those lies, goddamn lies, and then you have statistics. But I want to bring this out because the reason why I brought out Psalm 64, this is going to go into how they use their tongue. The Bible spoken in parable. They use their tongue, their mouth, to spew out poison, to lie against us. But the Lord, like I said, the scripture says wisdom will always defend her children. Like Elder Pastor Hart said, Elder Pastor Gabar, he said, in order for you to tell a lie, you must know the truth. So you can tell all these lies you want, but once you bring out the truth, remember, Esau only has two tactics. either to be deceptive or to be violent. So once you tell them the truth about themselves, what else they gonna lead them to do? That's why the Lord said, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." You have to know and understand history and who your enemy is. And why would I say enemy? Because the Lord said you shall be sold into slavery on ships. Your enemy, the Lord said you shall be sold unto your enemy. Y'all sold us. The Lord told, it's in the Bible. You know that. So but what I'm getting to is going back to even black crime. This is Psalm 64:1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O God, and my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Doesn't it feel like it's an insurrection going on right now? Remember the propaganda. You just had the Ukrainian girl get stabbed in the neck by this dude that looked like he a Jake. Randomly. Remember now, Trump and Putin, they had a meeting, I think it was in Alaska, and Zelensky wasn't even invited. Zelensky pretty much took it upon himself to go to D.C. to talk to Trump. But you remember when Trump, and I think Trump, Vance, and Zelensky was talking, Zelensky was looking at Vance like, who the fuck is this? And Trump was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is my right-hand man. So it's already been beef between them. So I think this could probably be a propaganda thing going against just going against this war. They try to incite more. You have to understand, this is the time in the Bible where it speaks about perplexities throughout the world. Understand? Matter of fact, let me get it. This is Luke 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Damn, didn't we just have like a tsunami watch not too long ago, people? It's like there's so many earthquakes throughout the earth. The stress of all the nations was going on right now. The whole world is just in shambles. But I don't want to get off topic, but it goes deeper, man. This go back to the 1,000 years, man, when the devil was loose for a little while to deceive the whole world. It's a little while though. Right, so it's getting close to the end. But anyway, let's get back to we're talking about black crimes, so to say, right? So this is Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So the words, right? See, the Bible spoken in riddles and written in riddles, I meant to say. And when it says who whet their tongue, the word is W-H-E-T. That means to sharpen their tongue. So they use words like black crime. And it's also another video. Matter of fact, it's the same video. Matter of fact, I'm going to put at the end of this video for y'all what I'm speaking about. It was Edomite girl up there. She might talking to him about the black crime that's in America because of poverty and everything. But he said that black crime in America is because that 80% of the children are being raised without their father in the house. Once again, they go back to one of them lies. Lie, a goddamn lie on the statistic. That statistic is based upon married couples. So you can spew that statistic, but the CDC says that black fathers are the most involved fathers. So who's telling the lie and who's telling the truth? See, one thing could be a lie, one thing could be the truth. You can say that unmarried black families are what, 80%? Meaning that 80% of our children are what, made out of wedlock? But the CDC said we're the most involved. So two things can be true. You can say that if you want, but that's not a cause of the crime. And then even when you think about the crime, that goes back to the number of people that you also brought in as immigrants. You also classify them as black, so to say, because the so-called black people in America, they're known as the Judahites in the Bible. We are also FBA, foundational black Americans, in a sense. Okay, we are also descendant of the black freedmen, because we would be able to trace our line back to what being known as property and slaves. So that's the way we can say that, hey, we are those people in the Bible. We are the children of Judah, right? Those immigrants that come over, those are heathens, all right? Even when the Edomites that came over after, they were known as wasps, meaning without papers. So they can't even trace themselves back to not even 100 years, maybe 150. We can go back to the 1800s, y'all. But what I'm saying is that when they say black crime, they're not including the crimes that happen with these heathens that come in and do these crimes. You see, that's how they spew the numbers. That's how they spew their rhetoric. So let me show you something. They say it's 41.31 million. They say FBAs, Foundation of Black Americans, the Black Freedmen, the Judahites here in America. All right. Now it says the question of who is considered black in America, that was my question, is complex, encompassing both broad governmental classifications and diverse, evolving self-identifications. While the term originally, listen here, y'all, originally reflected the history of slavery, meaning who? The Negroes, the ones who was on the damn papers. And I also say Hebrews too, to let you know they knew who were Hebrews. I saw a brother put that in the post. That was beautiful. Brought a smile on my face. And now it includes a wide range of people. From descendants of enslaved Americans to recent immigrants. Just like the term white goes back to what, only 1617? It was a social construct made in Virginia so they could have a certain distinction between those who were immigrants and those who was already here. After we started helping them with their enclaves. You got to remember, Esau came here by himself and he tried to build his own enclaves and they were dying off. Look up the starving times of Jamestown. They were literally eating each other. So Esau didn't get shit popped until we started helping them, and then that's when they stabbed us in the back and they forced us into slavery. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. So anyways, because we taught them how to cultivate the land. They wasn't agrarians. You know, Europe was the bottomless pit, like it said in the book of Revelation. But let me get back to this though, all right? So talking about crime, when they talk about they say we're only 40% of, I think it said we're 14% of of America's population, but we commit, you said like 50-something% of the murders or something like that. Some wild statistic. So I looked up, this is the furthest back I can go. 2019 crime in the United States. This is from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. All right. Table 43A. I'm just going off for pure numbers because Esau love to use that per capita shit. Okay, cool. The first offense, murder and non-negligent manslaughter. The total comes up to let's just say 6.8 million. For Esau Caucasians, 4.7 million murders. Guess how many Jake did? 1.8. You see how people just spew things? Even though, like I said, this is the furthest back I can go, but when people speak like that, I wonder where they get their statistics from, because I can always present mine. But okay, this goes back 6 years. But you outdid us. You outdid us by what? 2.3, 2.4? 2.4 deaths? I'm sorry, murders? You understand what? And then what about the ones that don't even go accounted for? Understand what I'm saying? Because it's already in Esau's nature to get off with immunity by taking our lives, because that's just the curse that's upon us now, because Esau's blessing was the sword. Think about the balance of the Lord, the blessing and the curse. Their blessing is the sword. The curse is that our life will hang in the balance, like the Lord said. What the scripture says, we are killed all the day long. When Obama was president for 2 terms, they literally was killing our children in the street, y'all. And then he didn't even write a bill to protect us. But he a heathen. He was from Kenya. He's a Hamite. He actually gave them more funding and gave them more laws to give them more immunity. And then start letting all them immigrants in. I'm just saying, like, you got to read the picture. But anyway, let's get back to it. So, if you're talking about black crime, that started back to what? Jim Crow. You made mockery of us, and you had all these minstrel shows made mockery of us. It was just, this was like the late 1800s. like 1880 something. So this is like right after like what we was the Emancipation Proclamation, and it got to the point where it was so outlandish they started making these laws where you can't drink from this water fountain. You can't walk on the side of the street. If you see a white woman, you got to cross the street. They even had something called a laughing barrel. If you was to laugh, you had to run to a barrel and laugh in. You couldn't laugh out loud around the other white folks and stuff like that. Hell, even Jack Johnson, that's where the marriage laws came from. Because Jack Johnson was laying with all them white women. So they were like, if you take this woman across this border or something, there's no law here. They create all these laws to come against Jake, right? So you can just be walking, hey boy, and they just lock you up. So you're talking about all these crimes. You're only talking. It's because you're always deeming us to be a criminal. I mean, the first slave patrol, police patrol was what? The slave patrol when they first let us have our freedom, or should I say, when we fought for our freedom, because the Emancipation Proclamation means the transfer of power, meaning that everybody was to become subject to the U.S. government. We just wanted our freedom, and we fought for our freedom because Abraham Lincoln said, if it was not for the black freedmen, we would not have won the war against the South. Abraham Lincoln said that himself. All right. So anyways, so you, and when you say that about black crimes, another thing I want to say too, yes, we are the most arrested, but we are the most exonerated. Like, people don't give you the whole context. When they say crimes, when you get arrested, okay, they say supposed to be innocent before proven guilty, but we already proven guilty. But then when you get there, we get exonerated. So they're not even accounting for the people who not even in jail. So that's just another lie. Then saying that father's not around, so there's more crime. That's absolutely a lie. Because like I said, the CDC says that we're the most involved. We're the most involved, and also through studies, even Edomite women, Shedamites, they said that we're the best lovers. I don't mean just sexually. I just mean like even sensually, we're the best. You know, we just, Judah, Jake, Israelites. But nonetheless, we are around. And when Esau talking about the father's not around, the first baby daddy was Esau, because you went around subjugating all the melanated people around the world, and you was raping the women and leaving the children. I mean, you're so degenerate. What was it, Thomas Jefferson? He had relations with a 13-year-old girl, an Israelite girl, and had children with the girl, and even put his own children into slavery. And y'all want to talk about black crime? Y'all want to talk about that y'all want to separate from us? You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, this is why we go to the Bible. Psalm 64 and 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who's the perfect? The Israelites. What did the Lord say? Be ye perfect like my Father that is in heaven. And I like to say we are perfectly imperfect. Because if the Lord already died for our sins, for the repentance and remissions of sins for Israel, that means that the kingdom is already promised unto us, and that the Lord said that man's goings are of the way, therefore a man's goings of the Lord, therefore how shall a young man know his way? In the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, I say, Lord, please direct me, but not with judgment, but guide my steps, because it's not in man to know what he should do or where he should go. I don't know where I'm going, because I had no say so on the day I was born, but the Lord enlightened me and let me know who I am, and now I know my purpose. But remember, everybody can't be the main character, and that's what's wrong with the society. Everybody want to be a main character. No, you are an NPC, ma'am or sir. But anyways, let's get back to it. Psalms 64 and 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. No, they talk crazy about us. Listen, they encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Remember, the Lord killeth and the Lord maketh alive. So I'm gonna just say that. All right. Because the Esau make it seem like the Lord don't see them. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep, their mind. They think deeply on how they can constantly subjugate us, or how they can constantly oppress us. It's all systematic. And then they always coming around, why can't you just act right? Why can't you It's like they like trauma porn on the most underbelly or degenerate parts of our society. But when Drewski made that skit about who they really are, they got upset. But at the same time though, that's a stereotype. But when you look at us in Walmart fighting, or our girls out there fighting or whatever, or you talking about our young men on social media with guns and all that kind of stuff like that, that's the underbelly. What about our teachers? Huh? What about our paramedics? Huh? What about our astronauts? Huh? What about the prophets on the corner? You don't see Edomites all around the world with the Bible preaching about prophecy. Y'all ain't doing that. And just like when they try to demonize the Hebrew Israelites, they never want to go into the history or the truth of the fact, because you are your father the devil. You love lies. That's why when we speak the truth to Esau, they hate you. They want you to stay dumb and dark. In darkness, I meant to say. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm going to close out. Psalm 64 and 7. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All they see them shall flee away. Like I said, at that moment with Charlie Kirk, he was literally talking about gang violence. And what happened? He made his own tongue fall upon himself. Because he also said there had to be an unfortunate death so that they could uplift the Second Amendment. And once again, black crime had nothing to do with this. This was by another white man. Another Edomite man. So DJ Trump letting the National Guards out in DC and in Chicago, hell, you should have had a National Guard over there with Charlie Kirk. But I digress. Continuing, I'm going to close out. Psalm 64 and 9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. And once again, remember, it said his own tongue fell upon himself, and all that see them shall flee away. When they saw that, didn't everybody run? I'm not making light of the situation, but you know, that's just the power of the Lord. That's the working of the Lord. I'm not going against the working of the Lord. You know? Psalm 64 and 9. All men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in YAHAWAH. That's the name when you see all capital Lord, all right, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. So once again, the Edomite man at the beginning crying and everything for Charlie Kirk and all. Listen, at the end of the day, we put our trust in YAHAWASHI. So you spew all this rhetoric, all this evil talking, all this nastiness, all this racial slur. Not racial slur. Let me not say that. All this rhetoric of anti-Israelite, anti-black people, right? To the point that we just trust in the Lord, and the Lord had one of your own people take you out, sir. Like I said, man, fight. What it said, rest in the Lord